There you go. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the December 4th edition of Topic Time with Harrison Young. It's not a bad day out there. We've got, it's kind of a little on the cool side, but it's bearable. And as usual, we're heating things up in here tonight. This young lady is a stand-up comedian. She is part of a comedy troupe, I think, that has a program called No City Left Unattended or Visited.
Yeah, that's the No Town Left Behind.
No Town Left Behind, okay. Yep. This is Sandy Summers. She's my guest tonight. She drove a long way to be here, so I appreciate her coming. We always have people with all kinds of interesting backgrounds. We're going to talk to her tonight, and she wants to pop a few crazy, funny things on during the interview. That's fine. That's totally her call. But in the meantime, we'll talk to her and find out what she's all about. So, Sandy, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, well, you're a stand-up comedian. You've been doing this for how long?
At least, it's 4.5, going on almost 5 years now.
Okay, and what got you into it?
I kind of always wanted to do comedy. It was something that I wanted to do, from a really, really young age.
Right.
But eventually, I just I'm a musician as well.
Oh, you are? What do you play and sing?
I play guitar.
Okay.
Yep, and I do some musical comedy as well.
Oh, so really? When you say musical comedy, are you talking about Midsummer Night's something by Shakespeare or something?
No, I write funny songs, just goofy.
Oh, like Martin Mull, only a female version. You know
yeah,
who Martin Mull is?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Well, he's an actor, but he began his career as a comedic as a comedy songwriter too. And back in the 70s, I don't think you were around yet, but he's been on TV shows like Roseanne, and he was on a little crazy soap opera we had back in the 70s called Mary Hartman. But as far as you're concerned, how long did you start playing music when you were young? I mean, real young.
Well, I taught myself when I was 18.
Cool.
I had moved to Virginia at the time,
Yep.
and I didn't know anybody, and I had a bunch of guitars that I always hoped to one day play.
All right.
And eventually I had so much time by myself that I started playing my guitars, and then for a while I was doing a little singer-songwriter thing, and I was playing open mics and local bars and stuff like that with my own music and some covers.
Well, I got to ask, why did you migrate to Virginia by yourself? And where? From New England, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Where'd you grow up? I'm just wondering.
I moved to Virginia. I was there. I had a high school boyfriend at the time, and he was going to school out there, and that didn't work out.
Oh,
pretty
I know
quick.
That don't work out very well.
Yeah, but then then I ended up getting married.
Okay.
And so then I had kids, and then I was out there for a while, and eventually we both we had moved back to Massachusetts.
Right.
So, and then that's where my family is, my parents and things like that. So.
Okay. But you felt that, but what was it? Why Virginia? Is it for lovers? Because they used to say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just was following the boyfriend at the time.
Ah,
so.
I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Was that the same one you married?
No.
Oh.
No, different one. I as soon as I got there, it didn't work out, and then I ended up meeting my now ex-husband.
Okay.
Right when I first moved there, and I was like, oh, new guy, met you. 3 weeks later, we were married. It was a great decision.
Well, it's a fast decision. Okay.
Yeah.
And you have kids with him, and you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I have 2 kids. So.
Yep, 2 kids. You look so young yourself that it's hard to believe, and that you. I'll put it this way, considering that you've been through, it sounds like you've been through the mill, so to speak, at least in terms of relationships, which, as far as from what I can understand, might be fodder for your material.
Oh yeah, I talk about all that stuff through my
Okay.
material. It's kind of like.
They always say everything happens for a reason too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. No, I love telling my ex-husband that no harm, no foul. You're nothing but a joke now.
Oh, good. Okay. I hope that goes well. I hope the kids are happy with that too.
Oh yeah, they're good. Yep.
Okay. Well, now this No Town Left Unvisited. What? Say it again.
The No Town Left Behind.
No Town Left Behind. Now that
Yep.
means are you part of a troupe of comics, or do you go by yourself?
It's not necessarily like a troupe.
Okay.
It's a group of, I think there's 5 of us.
Okay.
And,
all women?
No, I'm the only female
Oh, you
comic
are?
on
Okay.
board. We're all very different styles of comedy, and
Sure.
it's based out of El Paso, Texas.
Oh,
So-
why El Paso? Someone from the group from there, is that why?
Yeah, the guy, his name's Omar, and he runs, like, he's the one who created it.
Okay.
And he started the whole thing,
Yep.
and he was booking us at, like, different locations and stuff, so.
Cool. So did you start it in El Paso with him?
Part of the tour?
Yes.
Yeah, so I went on the road this summer.
Okay.
I drove to Arizona,
Yep.
and I did comedy along the way.
Wow.
And El Paso was kind of like the goal, though, because that was where the tour was going to be kind of based out of. And then
Okay.
we went to Alamogordo, New Mexico.
Okay.
And then we went to, I think it was like Las Cruces. No, it wasn't Las Cruces. It was another smaller town.
Well, if you can't remember the
in New
names of all
Mexico.
the towns, that's fine. But what I'm focusing on here is how you managed to round up all these people, from all over the country, and turn it into such a movement, which it really is. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, they're all kind of like from the Texas area, New
Okay.
Mexico,
Right.
the border, and I mean, I was kind of just lucky to be able to get connected with these people.
Well, how did you get? I mean, they weren't in Virginia. They were.
Yeah,
you'd
I
already
was-
come back to Massachusetts
Yeah.
to marry, and then after you were married, but then you went back. You say this summer it happened. You went to Arizona.
Yeah, I was driving.
Okay.
Yeah, I was driving. So since I was going to drive to Arizona, I was looking for shows and I was reaching out to different people
Okay.
so that I could, do some comedy and work on my material and things like that, and just kind of be more rounded by performing in different states and different areas.
That's
And then
incredible.
I got connected with my buddy, and then the rest is like kind of history. I
Kind of
mean,
history. Wow.
Yeah.
So you picked them all up kind of along the way.
Yeah, he already had like his designated people.
Okay.
So I was just kind of like a different addition because we all have different styles of comedy.
Right. Well, but you're all stand-up comedians,
Correct,
right?
correct.
Okay.
We're all stand-up comedians, but we all had like a little bit of something different.
Well, being that I know you're probably not going to do any material here, and that's fine. But I got to ask, when you do your material, do you incorporate your music? I assume you do, right?
Yeah,
The
I do,
songs. Okay,
yeah.
so you're the one you're the singing comedian.
Correct.
Okay, the other ones don't sing, but you do.
Right.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, tell me about the other ones. Anyone a ventriloquist by any chance?
No.
All right. Well, what do they do? I'm just how are they different? Just curious.
Well, let's see. We've got. There's Keith Beckenridge, I think is how you say his last name.
Okay.
He's a very like. I don't know. You have to see it.
Okay, we'll see. We'll get a look at
you
the
gotta
act
see
sometime.
them.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you have any of your group act on YouTube by any chance? Or or on a flash drive?
Well, I do. I mean, I have a video of our like performances,
Okay.
and one of our bigger shows was all recorded.
Okay.
I'm not sure about it being online yet. If any of the other guys have posted their stuff on it yet.
Okay. Well, the reason I'm asking is because if you want us to edit it into the show, we can do that if you have it on a flash drive, and you can email it to the station. It's up to you.
Oh yeah, I do have some video.
Okay, then
So
if you want to do
we
that
could-
tonight or tomorrow, you can do that, and we'll take care of that, and we'll get it on so that as we're talking about it, people will get an idea.
Yeah.
Okay, because that in that way you don't have to work too hard here. Just talk to me and talk about what you do.
Yeah.
And then other people will see what you've already done, and then it'll be a win-win. Okay. Well, so how is it? You traveled across the country. Did you bring your kids with you?
Actually, so my daughter went on vacation with a family friend at the
Okay.
same time,
Yep.
and I brought my son, who's now 5, he was
Wow.
4
Okay.
during the time. I brought him with me all the way to Texas.
Wow.
And so he was on the road with me for like 5 weeks of it.
That must be, boy,
So-
bringing a young child with you on a long trip like that. You didn't have to force feed him a Valium to keep him quiet.
Oh, it was intense. I mean,
Of course, I would think so.
it was fun though, because it was it
Oh,
was like
yeah.
a bonding experience.
Sure,
and we
sure,
got
that's great.
I made like sure, because I was in Florida.
Yep.
And so
You did shows there too?
Yeah,
Okay. Wow.
And so I made it a point I brought him to Legoland
Oh yeah.
when
I've
we
heard
were
of
there.
that. Yeah.
So I made it kind of for him as well, and I have families spread out
Oh, of
over the
course.
U.S., so I was
Okay.
visiting different people in different areas. And when I was with my cousin in Texas, in El Paso, he had time to play with, his other cousins and
That's
things
awesome.
like
Speaking
that.
of cousins,
So,
I told you who my cousin was.
right,
Sarah
yep.
Silverman. Well, speaking of performing, have you ever performed just in the Boston area, being that you're actually from here originally? You are from here
Yeah,
originally,
right,
right?
correct.
Okay, where have you performed? Have you performed in Boston and there
I,
areas,
I
towns
have.
and cities in the area? Okay.
I have. It's been a while since I've actually been in like the Boston area.
Okay.
I mean, I was at Improv Boston, possibly the beginning of this year, maybe like last year, and the
Okay, because
last
I've
year at
seen
some
billboards
point.
of your work on your Facebook page, and it looks like you perform with, those are all the people that you perform with regularly.
Right, and that's
Okay.
usually the No Town Left Behind tour. Like I
Right.
flew out to do a show with them at one point.
Okay.
And then before that, I was kind of just spread out in the New England area, and I had taken some different period time off.
Sure.
Like, so I mean, it's just kind of been sporadic as to where I've been. But I mean, I've gone all over New England. I've gone to Rhode Island and Connecticut
Wow. Okay.
and
Cool.
Maine. So
Wow. Okay. So people know who you are.
Well-
Have you? Well, so you've been doing this for a few years, but you probably really it's really taken off. The no area left on the
No Town
end
Left
on
Behind,
the
yep.
no place left behind started this year, right? Summer
Correct.
2017.
right.
So this is something. This is pretty big because I mean you're covering a lot of turf and it's work, but you're making it but you're clicking. You're making it happen. You're getting out there and you're visiting. People are knowing who you are because you're going about it the old-fashioned way. You're literally moving your caravan out there and stopping in every port you can think of, so people know you everywhere. Isn't that what your goal is?
Well, yeah, when I had the time and I, had more freedom and things like that, like, my kids not being in school over the summer,
Right.
I was able to travel and I wanted to kind of get out there more.
Right.
Since we got back, I had just moved, so I've been kind of focusing on like unpacking, which is never ending.
Of course.
So I only have like one show right now booked, but I'm going to be trying to get
Where is that
back
gonna
out
be?
there. It's in Lowell
Okay.
at I think it's like called like the Zorba.
Yeah, I know. It's on
Theaters.
Market Street.
Yeah, it's above like a Greek restaurant or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I happen to have my counterpart up in Lowell. His name's Bob McCarthy. He has a comedy show on Lowell Cable. You might want to talk to him. Maybe hook up with him on Facebook. He may be able to. Have you ever? Now let me ask you this: Would you consider possibly doing some of your songs in a on the Bob Show? That's the name of his show. It's kind
Oh
of a
yeah,
comedic
absolutely.
show.
Yep.
Yeah, you might want to check it out. I like networking people together because it makes me look better if that's possible.
Yeah,
And,
well-
but that's the kind of thing. I mean, I want all my guests to succeed because it makes me look good. Plus, I appreciate the fact that they're here for me to do my show. So and someone like you, I can see you look like somebody that I could turn on the improv night at the Improv and see you in front of 100, 200 people, having them crack up and wanting, and here you do a routine for like 20 minutes to 20 to 40 minutes long, and get really great standing ovation when you were done. You look like the type of person who has that ability.
Well,
Yeah. Even some of your facial expressions, and I believe that goes with good comedy. It isn't just what you say; it's how you say it, how you present it.
yeah, there's a lot of technique and
Of course.
things to it that I didn't even realize when I first started going into it. It's so much more than just writing.
It is, but you're pretty much self-taught. But I'm sure your friends that work with you in the troupe, they're pretty helpful too.
Yeah,
You all help each other out.
they've all been doing it longer than I have.
Okay, that's fine. But you're learning from them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're mentoring. They're mentoring you basically.
Yep, they've been huge help, and I learned a lot this summer, and yeah, I mean it was a really good experience. So
Have you ever been had your name on a bill with a lot of big people? I mean, you're getting bigger too, but just like maybe Lenny Clark, for instance, or
no,
Okay.
not yet.
Not yet, but it will happen.
One day.
Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, just keep at it. That's what you got to do. So your kids are in school now. What are you
Yeah.
doing? You got one show booked in Lowell.
Right.
And how long are you going to be doing that for? Is that it's like
It's just one night.
one night, and the next within sometime before the end of the year.
Yeah, so I just have the show. It's December 9th. It's,
Oh,
it's
okay,
a Saturday
which is
night.
5 days from now.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm doing that show, and then that's really the only thing that I have set in stone. And I'm gonna try and like get out and do some open mics to work on some new material
That's
that
great.
I've been writing.
Yep.
And then we'll see if I can get some book shows around the area in the next,
Well,
few months. So.
Well, sounds to me like I caught you on the uplift swing that you're in right now, which is meaning you're catching the wave big time at this time. Let me ask you this: a year ago at this time, did you ever foresee what you'd be doing now? Doing the no area left unvisited.
No town left behind.
No left down. I'm such an idiot. Sorry, but you know what I mean. Would you ever seen yourself doing that, or all those like a year ago?
No, not at
See how
all.
much progress
So-
you've made in the last year.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely made progress and I've grown.
Yeah.
I think that I want to put some more time into getting to mics and things like that.
Okay.
And try and keep growing the material that I have.
Yep.
I think that it's kind of like never really done.
And what about anything else you do in entertainment? I know you do music. Have you done anything on TV at all? I know you told me that you did another cable show, but I mean, you never did any
No.
films or anything.
Nope,
Not
nothing
yet.
like
But are you
that.
thinking of possibly trying acting at all anywhere?
I've debated it off and on
Okay.
over the years, but it's just never really. I haven't really had the time to really pursue seeking it out.
Right.
Comedy is kind of consuming when
Well, no.
as far as trying to write and get out there just for that I haven't really had as much time to look into other avenues, but I've been thinking more recently that I was going to try and see what other types of ways I can create.
So how much time a week do you spend writing, do you think?
Recently, not as much as I should. I mean, the last few weeks I've been writing a lot more.
Yep.
But if I go back to my norm, I usually make it a point to write for at least 15 minutes, no matter what, every day.
15 or 50?
15.
Okay,
So that I don't you
fall behind.
Yeah,
You just want to make sure
yeah.
you get some in every day.
Yeah.
I know, that's perfect. That's wonderful.
And some days it's
You
nothing.
have to. When you look at you, got to balance your life as a mom with your career, and it's quite a lot of commitment you got there.
Right.
I totally admire what you're doing, just based on your ability to stay, to hang it together like that and keep it going, instead of saying I can't take this anymore.
There are days.
I'm sure there are days that you feel like that, but I'm just saying, I know that's incredible. You shows a lot of discipline.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, if you were single, you'd be more freed up. I mean, not single, you are single, but if you had no children, you'd be more freed up. But
Yeah.
that's what makes it so much of a challenge for you, and that's what I think eventually you're going to say. You're going to be able to look back and say, "Wow, well, look what I made happen through all these what do you call it? Not barriers, but these issues that I had to deal
Yeah.
with one after another, in mass. And look where I am today. You're gonna be able to say, look what I've done. You're still very young yet. You got a lot of things to do before you really reach the pinnacle of success that you will reach. I can tell.
Right. Well, my kids are super supportive of it.
Of course.
And my daughter even, she tries to write jokes and she thinks, she wants to be a comedian.
How old is your daughter?
She's 9.
She's 9. Okay.
Yeah, she turns 10 this month.
Cool.
I can't even believe
Same
it.
Same age as my nephew. If she turns 10 this month, then she's actually the same age as my youngest guest in history, who was 5 when I had her on in 2013, but she turns 10 in the December of 2017. Wow. That's incredible. And my nephew's also 10, your daughter was born in 2007.
Yep.
Yeah, that's 10, I know, so was he. So that's incredible. So it helps that you have children that are so supportive, and obviously they look up to you, and the fact that they want to emulate you can't be bad either.
No, we have fun at home too.
Sure.
So, I mean, I'm joking with them and they're teasing me constantly.
Okay, good. And you're okay with that?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I think it's a really good coping skill, and it's
Sure.
a way to process things, and
Yeah.
that's kind of how, a big part of why I've continued to do comedy. It's just a really great way to work through, negatives,
Yeah,
and to find
of course it is.
the light, and to be able to find
There's
a
no better way
positive
to do it. It's the cheapest medicine. It's the cheap medicine, as they say. Laughter is.
Yeah.
It's a cheap medicine.
I'm
So-
practically a doctor.
Is that a joke? It's funny.
It was sarcasm.
Yeah, okay. Well, no, but in a way, you're right. I mean, you heal people. You heal people's sorrow by making them laugh, or angst, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and your own too, at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you have any people that you look up to that you've modeled yourself after, possibly that have?
I don't know if I'd say I modeled myself
that you
after,
admire.
but yeah, I have some comedians that I really like. Like I really like Bo Burnham.
Okay.
He does a lot of musical comedy, and is
he a black guy or a white guy?
He's white.
White. I wasn't sure. Just saying the name Bo. I'm not familiar with him. Sounds familiar, but
he's younger too. I think he started when he was like 18 or something. And then Dimitri Martin.
Okay.
He's definitely completely different style. He's very dry, but he also does some musical comedy and just different like outside the box type of things. So
okay, well, if you ever have a chance, I know I asked you before we started if you'd heard of Martin Mull, and you said no.
Yeah, I'll have to look him up.
Look him up, definitely. Martin Mull, he's hilarious. Some of the songs he's done. I mean, I got an album 40 years ago that he put together. And if you ever have a chance, Google Fernwood Tonight on it, because ironically he started as a joke TV talk show host like I'm doing, and it was a thing called Fernwood Tonight. Fernwood, Ohio, was a fictional town, which was the site of a silly soap opera called Mary Hartman back in the 70s. Have you not heard of that?
No.
Okay, because he came on the scene and played like a promoter, and then he started his own show. And then in the show, it's kind of a dark comedy. And literally, his brother in the show died of choking on chicken soup by falling asleep in his bowl. I mean, it's dark comedy. That's the history of Mr. He plays a guy named Barth Gimble. That's in that show. But I think he felt that doing that was beneath him after a while. He's been on shows like Roseanne. You ever see Roseanne?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. He's that big blonde guy with a mustache. If you might recall him. But I can just about guarantee that if you Googled him, you would know and see some of the stuff that he's done.
Yeah, I'll look him up.
Look him up, yeah. Okay, so 2018 is on the horizon. What are you looking to do in 2018?
A lot of it's kind of out in the air. I just, I want to find ways to, obviously keep creating. I want to keep doing stand-up.
Right.
But I think I'm going to try and focus more on like the writing aspect and see what I can do. I've been looking more into, like recently I've been trying to like draw and write some like comics.
Okay.
Like comics.
Draw, did you say?
Yeah.
Are you artistic as well?
Yes, yep.
You draw stuff. Did you go to college at all anywhere?
I did some like classes in a community college, but I don't have a degree.
Which one?
Central Virginia.
Oh, in Virginia?
Yeah.
Okay,
yep.
So you went down and got a little educated. Even if you don't have a degree, you still, anytime you're sitting in a course, you're learning something.
Yeah.
The old saying, you learn something every day, is not a cliche, it's true.
Yeah, I worked in insurance for a really long time.
Insurance?
Yeah.
Okay, what about now?
So now I'm just focusing on my kids and
your comedy.
Yeah, and writing and things like that.
So
yeah.
where are your four other proteges in your comedy troupe now?
They're all in Texas.
They're all in Texas.
And New Mexico.
New Mexico. Are you going to meet up with them at all soon? I mean, or maybe during your kids' vacation?
Yeah, there's a lot of different shows that are in the talks right now, but we have to wait for some more things to come to fruition, and we have to work out some other details. I know that we're all they want us to all get passports. So
you're going to travel abroad and do comedy abroad?
It's a possibility.
Well, where abroad? I mean, first of all, if you're going abroad, you got to, unless you speak foreign languages, you're going to need an interpreter, don't you think?
Well, no, because what they're looking into, I can't really go too much into because it's fine. Still they're still dealing with some of the people with getting that kind of stuff arranged.
Okay.
But it would be for Americans.
Oh, I see. I see. Americans abroad.
Correct.
I know this is kind of an off-the-cuff question based, I mean, you know what just happened with Al Franken, and I'm sure you know the senator who you know what I mean? You know about Al Franken? You didn't hear about? He's the senator who was accused of molesting Leanne Tweeden, who was a radio comedian or a radio personality.
No, it's been kind of hard to keep up with, to be honest with you. There's been
okay.
so many.
All right, I should forget Al Franken. Are you planning on maybe doing a USO tour?
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean.
Possibly.
Yeah, so We'll see. There's other people who are talking. I'm not in charge of
all right.
that part of it.
You don't really keep up with the news. If you don't know about Al Franken, first of all, he was a comedian. Now he's a senator from Minnesota.
I've been keeping up with the news, so I'm surprised that I didn't recognize the name. There's just been
you
so many people
You happened to Matt
recently.
Lauer, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Well, same thing with Al Franken.
Yeah.
Well, you did something on a USO tour to one of his colleagues. That's why I'm asking. That's why I was wondering. I know that's it's a tough question, but it makes me wonder because
Yeah, no, it's really unfortunate. I mean, to be honest with
yeah,
you,
it is unfortunate. I know.
there's a lot of, situations that, you end up in, especially as a woman, doing comedy where you have to kind of take more precautions
It's
to make
true.
sure that you're safe and have somebody else, to
Protect you.
keep tabs on you. Not even necessarily protect you,
Yeah, but you're an independent person. I think you could. Well, let me ask you this though: would stuff like this? I know with all this stuff happening in the news, the sexual harassment stuff. Would you convert that into material or not?
I would not.
You wouldn't. Okay.
I would not do that because
You don't want to. You'd be too offensive. You think
I
possibly,
just
and maybe
think-
you would offend you too.
I just think that, like, while I do make light of some more serious topics sometimes, what I'm making fun of is how you cope with the situation or the
Right.
things around it. I'm not making jokes of the actual, events.
Right, okay.
And so I kind of feel like when it comes to like sexual harassment, which is like something so real that,
Yes.
you have to face, and a lot of comics in general, I mean, not even just female comics, male comics too, have to, be concerned about. I just don't think it's something that the act itself should be
I know.
like
I know. It
laughing
shouldn't be
material.
made light of because it's not a good thing. I understand. Okay, that's fine. I do. But I mean, that's why we ask these questions because some people. I mean, let's face it. There are going to be comedians out there that are going to poke fun at that if they can. That's just the way it is. People think. Yeah, I mean, they're going to make fun of anything. They're going to make fun of the possibility of a nuclear attack on our country too. I mean, that's what some comedians will stop at nothing. You know that.
Right. I mean, and I have some jokes that border offensive too, and especially as a comedian, you can't really avoid offending everyone.
That's probably true.
It's just
Not
it's
offending
just-
everyone.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just not really possible. Sometimes people get offended. So the lines depend.
Okay, 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So it just depends on the person and what. Especially where you're going. It's just you don't want to alienate your audience. And
That's
so when
right.
you make like general broad statements, you can
Okay.
make kind of jokes, but
Okay. Well, because sometimes, I mean, I've watched, over the years when I've watched Saturday Night Live, I've seen some very tasteless things on it, on some shows. I don't know if you would ever consider, if you'd ever like to be part of that group.
yeah, I would love to do something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure
Saturday
you
Night Live, that was like a dream of mine when I was younger.
Okay, well, it still is, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's definitely not something that I've ruled out, but
Right. Have you ever gone to New York to do any shows?
I haven't done any shows in New York.
You haven't?
But I've only visited New York a couple times, so.
Well, because I'm saying that down there you'd probably get a lot of exposure if you went down and got on Broadway or did some shows in the theater district.
Right, yeah, New York is supposedly like where to be.
Exactly.
So.
But Boston too. I mean, any big city. I know you don't. I mean, you told me before we started that you don't really like the city, but when you're doing comedy, that's where the brunt of the people
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, well, I don't really like driving either,
Right.
so.
Get a chauffeur.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, but you don't like driving, but you drove to Virginia and Arizona. That's
Yeah.
Someone doesn't like driving.
Well-
You sure talked yourself into doing something you don't like doing. That's
Yeah,
impressive.
I did it because of that. I was like having anxiety going to close places. So I was like, you know what? Maybe if I drive all the way to Arizona, then it won't freak me out to go to the grocery store.
There you go. I mean,
So.
you take it to one extreme. You take it to the ultimate extreme to
Yeah.
next to problem. I don't know anyone. I've never met anyone that does that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I like to push myself.
Good for you. And you look like you're in good shape. Do you work out?
I used to. I haven't been recently.
You haven't been?
So yeah, not very good at
Well,
keeping up with that.
Plus you're having kids and stuff. Well, listen, we are going to wrap it up. You were a great guest. I hope you got some good sound bites in for you tonight, and I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm delighted you were there. Now, are you ready to rock and roll with us?
Yeah.
Okay, folks. One last show left in 2017 for Topic Time, and it'll be great. Surprise guest. So, thanks, Sandy, and here we go. See you next time.